Joanne Morton is a visionary artist, speaker, and community connector who inspires audiences through talks on gratitude, laughter, affirmation art, and the power of collective creativity. She weaves themes of planet, people, prosperity, and peace into her work, empowering individuals to embrace magic, passion, love. Her philosophy for sustainable positive energy. As the founder of Fucking Cool Women Society, Joanne cultivates spaces for women to uplift and celebrate one another.
Welcome to another episode of Soul Shift Sessions podcast, where we have deep, transformative conversations to help you transform your mind to transform your life. I'm your favorite freedom and financial life coach, Coach Sapphire Star. And of course, today I have with me my favorite co-host, Coach Cotto McLeod. And our special guest, Ms. Joanne Morton. I'm so excited to have you here with us today to join the conversation. Before we get into what we're talking about today, I would like to remind our guests that if you would like to be a guest on our show, please go to www.soulshiftsessions.com and fill out the Be a Guest form. Also, join the tribe if you would like to be a part of the community and learn more about what we're doing and join the conversation. Go to soulshiftsessions.com. Without further ado, I'm super excited for our today's special guest, because I am a member of the Fucking Cool Women Society, and we have the founder and creator here on the show today to just talk about why women are so fucking cool. Welcome, Joanne, to Social Sessions.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm so excited to be here. And I would like to say, welcome to the Magic Passion Love Art Studio that we're sitting in right now. Okay.
Nice.
I love it. And just want to jump right in. And because I know you've built your life and your work around that philosophy of magic, passion, love. Tell us a little bit more about how that came to be and how that journey has shaped who you are today.
Okay. Well, that's a really good question that I've talked about a lot. So I'm happy. I love sharing this because one of the things I'd like to remind people is that we have the choice of how we want to live our day and how we want to feel good and what we want to do to make ourselves feel good. And if something's not making you feel good, you have to look at it and figure out what's going on, right? You know? So in the early 21st century, because we lived at the turn of the century.
We did.
I mean,
Right.
when you think of it that way, it's kind of cool. So
Yeah.
you know, and we're going to be in the history books. What we're doing right now is in the history books, right?
Yeah.
It always is, but at the turn of the century, especially. So, I was living in New York and I wanted to feel good being me 24/7. And even though I was living in my dream city, you know, fabulous life, blah, 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 you know, because, you know, New York, it's hard, but it's also fabulous. I said, well, I need some information. And this was not as clear as precise as I'm saying it now, but these three words came to me when I was walking my dog down Avenue A in the East Village: magic, passion, love. And the first things that came out of my mind was like, oh, how could I create art, or how could I sell this? How could I make, and I'm like, you know, but how do I make money with three words: magic, passion, love, you know, because I'm trying, and I'm like, you know, and spirit, universe, God, divine energy, goddess, whatever, the feeling that showed up in me was just let it just be magic, passion, love, whatever that is, right? And so over the years, I did that like in 2004. So it's been over 20 years. And from that time period, because I allowed myself to listen to not only my inner voice, but listen to the voices of all the wise people, the teachers, the spiritual healers, the, you know, the outside the box thinkers, I was able to understand that if I allow my magic, feel my passion, live my love, I can co-create financial abundance with cool people, with fucking cool people, especially if we use our skills and talents to uplift other people. And so it's for me, I like having I like understanding things in my own way, because then I'm able to apply, because there's so many things out there that we can apply ourselves, how to live the best day, the 4-minute morning, the miracle morning, this kind of fast, this kind of meditation, this kind of there's all of it, and it's all good.
Yeah.
And so for me, Magic Passion Love represents all of that. So it's Magic Passion Love and Soul Shift Sessions podcast, because you guys are allowing your magic, feeling your passion, and living your love. And when you allow your magic, feel your passion, and live your love, that renewable, sustainable energy source, the world feels your wow. And the world needs your wow.
I have never heard of it in the context of sustainable energy.
Mhm.
That is fantastic.
Renewable
Fantastic. I
energy.
mean, because I'm always thinking from when I hear sustainable energy, I'm thinking solar power and
External.
wind turbines. And, like that's what I'm thinking about from a sustainable energy standpoint. But I never even considered magic, passion, and love being a sustainable energy source.
Yeah, because we're energy beings,
Right.
Mhm.
right? Everything around us is energy, inside
Right.
and out. And so that's a
Correct.
beautiful connection to make. I love that.
Yeah. That is awesome.
That is powerful. That is powerful. And I love, oh, go
Okay,
ahead.
now I'm ready to tell you something. Now, Miss Financial Coach here,
Yes.
I want to direct this to, I want to hear what you have to say about this. I want to hear what you have to say too, Kyle. Okay.
Okay.
So you do agree that money is energy,
Yes.
right? Okay.
Yes.
You do agree that we create financial abundance from money energy.
Yes.
Okay. So should it make, and you do agree that we make money off of solar energy, nuclear
Yes.
energy, fuel, coal, fossil fuel energy, even kind of made up numbers, Wall Street mortgages energy. We're making money from all of that. And, we're going to give those numbers attention, and we're going to create energy from that. And we're going to create financial abundance from that, right? Agree?
Okay.
So by all purposes, then, should we not be able to create financial abundance from magic, passion, love energy?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
'Cause you know me as the financial wellness coach, I always say that money is currency. And also, when we talk about financial planning, organizing your money to live your best life, it's really about how you are cultivating and harnessing that currency and that energy. Because in and of itself, money has no value. Then it becomes, what's the value that you place on it, right? And what are you doing with that energy and that currency to get the life that you want? And so it then goes to the mindset, because where your focus goes, your energy flows.
Mhm.
And so that's really what my whole framework is all about: mindset, focus, making it happen, that mindset, that belief, action, results. And so
Right.
that is I love to just sprinkle in that magic, passion,
Yes, because
love in there, because that's the sprinkle that you need,
right.
I
Because
love that.
when you're working on that mindset, why not work on a positive mindset? Where are you spending
Absolutely.
your money? Which you totally refer to that. And if you activate your personal power source, which is renewable and sustainable, you may get tired, it may slow down, but it's always there. There's always enough of love for everyone, right? There's enough money for everyone. So we have to activate it, and that's the action. And there's action being you. We have to take the action.
I love that. Joanne and I met in the line at a networking event. And I was invited to join the FCW Society. And I honestly believe, even before we actually met in person, in terms of wavelengths and us debating that magic, passion, love in us, when we are authentically who we are,
Mhm.
it allows us to attract other people who are authentically who they are. And then that creates that alignment, that Coach Cal talks about in his talks, his leadership talks. And I do believe firmly that people are looking for permission to activate that authenticity. So how powerful is a derivative, an action of magic, passion, peace, just magic, passion, love. I keep saying peace. I want to throw peace in there.
It's all about peace. It's all about peace. Peace is possible.
Like passion, magic, love, love. I'm sorry. Magic, passion, love equals peace. There we go.
There you go.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, my God. Yeah.
And that positivity that you talk about. And let's talk about your artwork, because you talked about how you were like, how can I create that? Let's talk about the affirmation artwork that you do to pretty much spread that magic, passion, love.
Sure. Yeah. So I went to film school, so I didn't have the courage to call myself an artist in my 20s. So I went to film school, which I don't, is just as courageous in a way. But anyway, but it was in the early 2000s. I was living in New York, and I had gotten out of the film industry, and I was like, what do I want to do? And I started listening to Louise Hay, You Can Heal Your Life, Queen of Affirmations. If you don't know her, You Can Heal Your Life, amazing book. And I love affirmations. And affirmations really, I think, were the start of me changing my mindset, changing my life, because there's only room in your brain for the thought of worry or faith. You just have to choose which one you're going to have in it. You're going to have a positive affirmation. And so I started writing affirmations, and 10 times a day, I have some. And then when I to something that you mentioned too about when you activate your magic, passion, love, you attract. That's how we got attracted. Well, I was doing that, and I was attracting, and I was manifesting, and I ended up manifesting an art studio in Chinatown. This amazing art studio, and so down there, never really, I just started playing with art. So I was doing a lot of abstract, but I realized I liked writing on my paintings too. So I started writing my affirmations, and I made them myself, and I do sell them. Of course I sell them, but I just feel like, for me, I love having affirmations all over my space. I have them in my car, I have them in my bedroom. I've got Post-its, but Post-its aren't that cute all the time. So I want something kind of cute. I want something that fits my style. And so I started putting paintings of my art that way. And I also call myself a tricky dame, TRICKYDAME, tricky dame. And I called myself that because sometimes you got to trick yourself,
or teach yourself.
Yeah. And I like the play element, because I wrote down in my little journal one time when I was 35, I will not be a boring grown-up.
Yeah. Tricking yourself, is that when how you bring yourself back when you're not in the best of states? Like, can you say more about when you have to trick yourself and what that looks like?
That's so interesting. I never thought about that before, but I think I do. I think that's what I do. And I do it gently, and I don't like jump out of the closet and go, boo, have a good day. It's not a trickster.
Not that kind of trick. And definitely not the other kind of trick.
I can see my affirmations jumping out the closet like, boo, have a good day, bitch.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. Okay. I have to share this with you. I'm helping this woman clean out her storage unit. And she had these 2 Jack-in-the-Boxes that she had done something with. And I kept them for a couple weeks thinking, oh, I want to do something. But then I couldn't think of anything. So I gave it away. But now what I think I want to do with the Jack-in-the-Box is take the head off and put an affirmation on it. You just helped me do a creative process. Yeah.
Affirmation in the box instead of Jack in the box. Affirmation in the box. You wind it up, and it's just like, look at us creating.
Okay, we operate that right now.
Right now. Write that
We're
down.
gonna make
my
product together.
My problem with this conversation is Now all of a sudden you're talking about the Jack in the Box, you're taking the head off and putting the affirmation, and then based off what you said, now I have this visual picture of a Jack in the Box with an affirmation saying "boo, bitch." Do you see what you have done to me? Do you see what you have done? This is not my fault. This is your fault, okay? Yours, okay?
This is what
Can't
happens.
unsee
Hang
it.
out with
I
fucking
can't
cool
unsee it
women.
now.
Boo, bitch, be great.
Yeah. Okay.
We gotta focus.
Yeah.
This is what I love about authentic people coming together in spaces and sharing our story. This is what Soul Shift Sessions is all about. This is what Magic, Passion, Love is all about. And I really, because our episode is about why women are so fucking cool. And that is really leading me into you're the founder of the fucking Cool Women Society. And I would love for you to share with us, like, what inspired you to create that space and what impact have you witnessed as a result of creating such an amazing space?
Well, I have two sisters, an older and a younger one. And growing up, we did, we were about 4 or 5 years apart. And we got along, but we also very different, very, very different. And at one point, my parents had a daughter in LA, Chicago, and New York City.
Oh, wow.
I just think that's
all the
really
major
cool,
cities.
right? I don't know, that's pretty fucking cool. So, but to this day, they're such fucking cool women. They're just really, I'm really glad that my sisters and I have such a great relationship. And I've always, had girlfriends. But when I was in film school in Chicago, I was working for an organization called Women in the Director's Chair. And I was a feminist filmmaker. And so they did these film festivals every year, this women's festival. And so I got to be on the screening committee to screen all the films that came in. So imagine I'm 26 years old, 27 years old, listening and watching all these amazing women, working with these amazing women in this film festival. And, living, it was just, women are so fucking cool.
Yes.
So my final video in film school was called Women Are So Fucking Cool. It's available on YouTube. It's very experimental. And it was, I interviewed 4 women, and I asked them just to describe a woman that was in their life who was fucking cool, but not to say their names. Because I edited it in a way where they were just talking about one woman or different women. And the question I was asking the audience is like, so often women are pitted against each other and they're talked about, they call each other bitches. They gossip, Well, FCWs, fucking cool women, don't gossip about the women they don't like. They only gossip about the women that they do like because we want to uplift each other, right? Yes. So that was in 1992, okay? Fast forward, I'm in New York, and I'm on this understanding of my new mindset. Magic, Passion, Love has come into my life. And one of the things that all of the teachers and coaches say is surround yourself with like-minded people, like-hearted people. And I'm like, well, and I have some great friends, but, definitely, shifting a little bit. And I want to, I know a lot of fucking cool women. And I'd also seen Fight Club. And they say the first rule about Fight Club, don't tell anybody that. Well, I thought maybe I should start a women fucking cool club, but I invited some women together for brunch. And I said, this is what I want to do. And we came up with the FCW acronym. We came up with a society because we wanted to be society ladies. And then on this brunch at this little Italian restaurant on Avenue A, we came up with FCW Society is dedicated to promoting and exploring feminist issues and interests while spreading the word and celebrating the fact that women are so fucking cool. Respect, encourage, celebrate. And then we thought, well, let's have a brunch, or let's have, and so we started a brunch in March of 2005, the very first one. And the way, I wanted to make it really loose and organic. And I also didn't want to, whatever. So we decided the first Sunday of every month. And we originally started the brunches at 2, but people came at 4. So we just moved it back to 4 to make it easier. So I love the 4 o'clock brunch. And over time, different women hosted them. And we even had an event to celebrate our 2-year anniversary where we had a variety show because we have all these talented women. And we had it at 4 o'clock on a Sunday afternoon in a basement in a bar in the East Village. And a little over 100 people showed up, and 35 people were men because we invited the fucking cool men that we love. And that it was one of the best shows ever. And then so fast forward, I moved to Savannah, and hey, I need to meet some people. How do I meet some fucking cool women? Why I know her and I know her? Let's have a brunch. So I tell them, I share, I'm going to host a brunch. Please come and bring some of your FCW friends. And so I had my first brunch out here out on Tybee when I lived out there in 2010, I think, or 11. And the second one, the mayor, former mayor of Tybee actually came to the brunch. So there's been a FCW mayor, we're everywhere. So yeah, and we've had variety shows here in Savannah. And so when the 20th anniversary started coming up, I was like, oh, I love that it's organic and women who have left New York and other cities have hosted them. But because we started this in 2005 when there was a backlash a little bit about feminism, there's always a backlash, but there was a particular one that we were all listening to. And now I just feel like it's that time again where we need to understand that the looking through leadership through a feminist viewpoint is not a bad thing, and it's not an exclusive thing. It's a very inclusive thing. Patriarchy is bad for men just as it is for women. And so when you look at a lot of women business owners, they really do give back to their communities a little more statistically, a little bit more than their male counterparts, not saying. And so we need to find a balance. That's even with Magic Passion Love, even with all this mindfulness work that we're doing, we understand there has to be a balance. There's going to be this part where it's kind of crappy and there's parts going to be really good. We got to balance it out. And so if you balance out the equality of sexes, it would just make the world a better place for everybody. But there's just the low egos and yada, yada, yada. We can explain why and all of that. So that's why I did. And so I started, we do still hold brunches here in Savannah, but if somebody wants to host it, because I'm not the leader, FCWs are very accountable. If you want to do something, you do it yourself. I'm not one person isn't going to do it all. So, but I said, like I said, I wanted to do something. So I thought, I want to make another documentary. I'm going to add on to that video. And so I thought, why not start a podcast, starting to just get the process going. And it's turned into this. I started in March, and I'm asking women who want to be on the podcast to reach out to me, or if you know a woman who'd like to be on the podcast, you can reach out to me. But it's been so surprisingly life-changing in a way that I didn't expect. It's making me really come to terms with my own fucking coolness, because we all have our doubts of our coolness. And it also has made me realize that when we listen to the wisdom of fucking cool women of all ages, we really can find that inspiration to activate your magic passion love. Goes back to that. It always does. And so I've had so many women over the years tell me how wonderful they felt about coming to these brunches. It's one of the safe spaces. We could have conversations about real things, like they were in my apartment. This woman was saying we're in my apartment, and we all of a sudden started talking about something like masturbation or menstrual stuff, like just out in the blue. And I'm just like, yeah, man, of course we can talk about that. They're just like, oh my gosh, what the hell are you? This is I'm like, but we're women. We all bleed. Get over it.
Yeah. Right.
And also, and I'm really grateful that we've had a chance to grow, because in the early days, we were feminists, but as white feminists, we're very limited. We have that horrible thing that history has taught us that, we're the only ones that are out there doing stuff. And we've all known. I mean, I took my first women's studies class in 1988. It changed my life forever when I got introduced to, Audre Lorde and Bell Hooks and Toni Morrison. So we have to understand, as feminists, we have to constantly be questioning and asking ourselves the critical questions. Are we being really inclusive? Are we listening to all voices? Do we understand that, what my definition of a fucking cool woman is not the definition? It's my definition. And what your definition is your definition. And so if you invite an FCW to a brunch, because that's the only way you get invited, if you invite an FCW to a brunch and I'm like, well, I don't know if she's fucking cool, doesn't matter. Because if I think you're fucking cool, then she is fucking cool. Because who's to say who is? Nobody. You know, we are the ones that say it. And I also appreciate the fact that there are people out there who understand that they want to identify as a fucking cool woman. And they have made the choice to embrace their fucking cool woman, and they may not have been born in the female parts. I don't know how to explain it all, but you understand what I'm talking about. And so I always say, if somebody says you're a fucking cool woman and you really live it and do it, who am I to say no? You know?
I love
That is awesome. Yeah, that's awesome. I do love that. Wow. I don't even know what to ask at this point, you know, because you said so much, Joanne. Yeah, I don't know what to ask.
Can I interrupt? Can I answer that question that you asked before about depression, but how you trick
I thought
yourself?
you did answer it.
Well,
So I would love to hear what you have next.
I did,
'cause
yeah,
thought
I
you
did answer
it.
that, and I wrote it down because I wanted to really talk about that because I do get depressed. I can't get out of bed sometimes. I mean, it sucks. It totally sucks.
First of
You know,
all, I just appreciate you saying that because when you came on, I was like, all right, in my head, I'm thinking, for the listeners who don't even know how to access that magic, passion, and love part because they're going through the wood grinder right now, what would you say to them? And you're already speaking to that. So please say more.
oh yeah, and it's hard. It's so hard. I mean, believe it or not, I have this podcast, another podcast called Let's Manifest a Good Day. And it's only like 5-6 minutes, just like I was doing it, just recording it every day. I can't listen to myself because when I'm having a bad day, because I'm like, I don't want to listen to that bullshit. You know, here I am, the positive energy artist, and I'm not doing my daily gratitude or I'm not doing my daily meditation. Oh my God, I must be like the worst human in the beings. I really am a bad person. So why am I doing any of it? I mean, oh my God, it's horrible. And
You are the
so,
essence of You're Not Alone right now.
Pure
yeah, we're not.
essence. Pure essence. Yeah.
And I'm really grateful that more of us are saying it too, because I don't need, I mean, even, I think that's the reason why I decided I'm going to show you my studio space because artists are messy. Any artist who has a backdrop that's perfect, that's not their working art. That's their backdrop, you know? I don't have time to have a backdrop. I'm busy. I'm doing my stuff, you know? And so we have to remember that we are all experiencing it and that you're not, even though you may feel like you're the only one who's ever felt this way, and you are the only one of you feeling this the only way, but we all feel it in our own new way. And so what I do is I mean, there's a song, that's a song I was going to quick fire questions, but this is another song called Gentle with Myself by Karen Drucker. Druck, Karen Drucker. She's a fucking cool woman. But it's called Gentle with Myself. And there's a line in that song that says, I will go as fast as the slowest part of me can go. I know, spoiler alert. And I remember,
that's beautiful.
I heard a woman suggest that song on a radio show or something. So I listened to it and I just bawled my eyes out. It was so good. And so that's the first thing I remind myself. If all I can do is just get up and put a washcloth on my face because I know that'll make me feel better, fine. If all I can do is just bleh, then that's fine. You know, you gotta feel good being yourself 24/7. So that's where the magic, passion, love comes in. I want to feel good being me 24/7, even when I'm feeling bad. So even when I'm feeling bad, I'm still feeling good about me feeling bad because that's part of who I need to be to release. And even in fact, yesterday, I wasn't my most energetic day, you know, and by the end of the day, I was just like, oh my God, I don't know what happened to me. Why wasn't I doing anything? And I go, Joanne, it's okay because you know what? Tomorrow's going to be a new day and you're going to have so much energy because you kind of load energy. So you kind of have to let yourself go. But then how do I really get myself out? It's one step at a time. So I will find a book and just open up and look at it if it makes me feel good, like an
Yeah.
affirmation book or something. Or I will listen to a YouTube video that I can go to sometimes. I also listen to a lot of positive music on Spotify. But even then, when
Yeah.
I'm like not in a good day, I'm like, I don't want to listen to that song,
I don't want to listen to that. I
I
don't
know,
want to listen to
I
that when
know.
I'm feeling
But
bad.
but then I also remind but you just keep you have these conversations, but then when something bad comes up, you're like, no, that's not true. Remember what we say. There's only
Yeah.
room for worry and faith. And so sometimes I'll just I'll binge, watch a couple funny TV shows, or I'll watch those shows that make me feel good. And I don't get down on myself, because I know it's temporary.
Yeah.
Temporary. And the moment that I start feeling a little bit better, because that there's 33 seconds, every 33 seconds of positive energy, feeling a little higher vibration makes you go. And the more you do it, the more you do it. I mean, well, 6 months ago, oh my God, I was horrible. Oh my God. And I still have lingering, getting out of bed is sometimes I don't want to get out of bed. But it's moving, it's changing, it's going to the
Yeah.
other side a little bit. And I also, for me, I've understand that maybe I always have to have a little bit of, I don't know why I call it depression but there's a lot of crap going on out there. And
Yeah.
we are empathetic creatures,
Yeah.
sometimes deep, but give ourselves a break. But then one more thing, and then that's where finding those people that you can lean into and call
Mhm.
and and not just do it all on social media. We have a
Yeah.
lot of great connections on social media. I'm so grateful for my social connections on LinkedIn, Facebook, all of them, right? But we have to find face-to-face people, you know.
I appreciate so much of what you're talking about because one, you're acknowledging that even I would say countrywide, people are starting to really go through it. And there are people even in my own personal circle that, are the epitome of they're high flyers. They are doing great things in business and they are wonderful parents. And yet in 2024 into 2025, like they're dealing with things that are monumental. And I don't know how often you have to, like, there are times where I have to be reminded of stuff that I've said to other people. And it's like, what the hell? Like, why do I have to be reminded of the things that I've told other people? And I think it's part of the time that we're in. And there are certain things that we probably just need to put into practice that we may not have had to put in practice before. For example, I noticed that I don't sleep the way I did 6 months ago, right? I wake up in the middle of the night or really, really early in the morning and with feelings of anxiety. And I know cognitively it is because of the opinion that I have about the situation that I am currently in. And the opinion that I have about the situation is not a pretty opinion because I am the villain of my own situation. And so being that, it's like I have to remind myself. I found this one technique on, I think I was just like reading the news, like Google News or something. And this one doctor has this kind of like a pattern interrupt for when you're sleeping and like you're having your racing thoughts, which is this thought can wait. And the more I say in my head, this thought can wait, my body starts to like go down. Whatever, if it's on 10 and I say it once, it's down at a 9. And then it's, 8, 7, 6, and it just keeps taking me down. I have to keep saying it over and over again. But I have noticed that I am not denying the thought. I'm just saying, we could talk about it later.
You're rescheduling it.
You're rescheduling it, right? It's like, I'd like to sleep now and talk about this later with myself. And that is something that helps. But you mentioned using music. I know about using music all the time. And there are those moments where it's just like, to hell with the music. I feel horrible right now. And I don't want to, it's almost like I'm almost committed to feeling horrible in that moment and not willing to do the things to take me out of that moment. Now, there is an aspect of your emotions are trying to tell you something. And if you're trying to push those emotions away, you're most likely not getting the message that is being communicated to you. And to some degree, my emotions are probably telling me that I need to, or need is probably not the right word, but there are other things available than just sitting here in this spot. And there are things available when I'm awake, and there are things available when I'm asleep. But I have to make sure that I am putting myself in an environment and in a situation where those things can actually happen. For example, I know that I have a particular problem and I am not seeing solutions for those problems, but that is something that is like, all right, let me go to sleep and think about manifesting a solution to the problem. Because how many times have we had something on Thursday and Friday we got the answer because we actually took ourselves to bed instead of just sitting in and trying to pound and pound and pound away at the problem. And it's just like, just go to bed, go to sleep, get some rest, renew your mind, allow your mind to be renewed by getting some rest.
Rest
And
is best.
it really is interesting how, well, Star can definitely help me or attest to this, is that, and maybe even you as well, Joanne, but just from an entrepreneurial standpoint, how many times have we villainized rest?
I don't.
How many times have we done that?
Seriously. I sleep all the
Right.
time. I take naps. I am a big, I'm going to be, I don't, I go to
Have you ever
sleep.
villainized it before in your past, though? Never? I know I have. Sapphire,
No.
have you?
I have in a way, but I'm definitely the nap queen now. I'm definitely more like I'm taking a nap.
When I
It's
was,
nothing for me to take a nap, but I have been in the mindset, and I will say for a huge part of my life, it was hustle, 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 grind,
Yeah.
grind, grind, survive,
Yes.
survive, survive.
Yes.
And there had to be a shift in my mindset where it went from
Yes.
I'm not just surviving, I'm thriving. And
Yeah.
then that allowed me, gave me permission to be like, oh, take some rest, take the me time, prioritize self-care. But a huge part of my life growing up, and I would say
Was
all the way up
hustle.
until like my 30 was like hustle, grind, and just I'll sleep later. I was not prioritizing sleep and valuing how important sleep was to my health and to my overall well-being that then fuels the success and results that I want in my life.
In my past, I had to earn the sleep. I had to
Mhm.
earn the rest. You know, if I was in a job and I was in a sales job, right, and I wasn't making any sales, oh, well, you have not earned the right to rest because your pipeline is
well,
empty.
sales is, yeah. Okay. So one time I was working an office job in Chicago and nobody else was in the office, just me. It was in the afternoon. I got tired. I went to one of the empty offices and went underneath the desk and took a nap for 20 minutes.
I bet you had some good sleep too.
I did. It was on the hard floor, but boom. It was
Yeah.
probably because I partied too night the night before, but I did. I took a nap,
As the
you know.
story unfolds.
Yeah. I'm not saying I'm perfect by any means, and I have other self-care issues, but rest. And I remember in the first couple times in New York when I had double shift jobs, I worked a morning job and then I had a job to work at 5 o'clock. I was able to go home, take a nap, and then go up and go back to my second job. And I don't know. I actually, in my early 20s, my friend once said, Joanne, you have the Morton sickness. I sleep. We can sleep really well. And I am so grateful because
Yeah.
I want to say, I think it's one reason I don't have that. I think because of this, my rest, because I do sleep. When I don't get sleep, I'm anxious, I'm bitchy, I'm this, I'm that. And
You're
you know,
not a
so I
fucking
try
cool
not to
woman
be,
at that
I've been
point,
that
huh?
way for different work jobs and things like that. But I know a lot of people can't sleep and that's one of their, I mean, my heart goes to them.
Yeah.
It really is,
Yeah.
you know, and there is so much pressure to be doing stuff all the time. And when I was in New York, I definitely was, a pressure, but I don't want to be that way anymore either.
Yeah. New York is a pressure cooker in itself, right? If you're in New York, I was born and raised in New Jersey, so I know. And it is, whenever I would drive from here, I'm in Florida, and whenever I would drive with my family up to New Jersey, once I cross the border from New Jersey, from like Delaware into New Jersey, I can automatically feel the tension on the road. Like the people are so, you could tell just by the way they're moving in their cars that there's this hustle, bustle, and tension and stress everywhere.
And this is a question that I want to be able to because I don't live in a big city anymore. I live in Savannah where it's really, very grateful. Didn't think I'd want to live in a small town, but I'm really happy I do. I mean, because I don't live in that big, busy world. Um, but is it possible to have, find that inner peace so that you can navigate all those stressful moments throughout your day? And I'm just going to say this. I think it's possible because one, Magic Passion Love was birthed in Manhattan.
Mm.
One of the busiest cities in the world is where I found my inner peace in that chaos, right? And the other thing, it was a choice for me. I remember this there's a lot of things to be annoying in New York. I wasn't, subway, there's a lot of annoying things, I even lived on a 6th floor walk up. So I could be annoyed at that if I wanted every day. But I made a choice. I wasn't going to let things annoy me because it's annoying. You don't want to be annoyed. If you're annoyed, that's when the problems start for me, And so, and even when I left New York, I said, I'm not going to judge people. I'm not going to see people through my New York City eyes because they're going to be very different. And I don't want to be annoyed by the way they are. There's a lot of annoying things about people outside of New York.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And I
I
think
think
that
that,
you have to let go of the annoyances.
yeah, I think that for people who live up there who truly believe that they belong there, I think that what you're talking about is possible.
Yeah, I think
But
so too.
if you are in a place where you know you don't belong in that place, we didn't belong in New Jersey. That's why we're here in Florida now,
Yeah,
because we didn't belong
exactly.
there anymore.
Hmm.
And that's what made life so much more peaceful and joyous for us, was making that transition to Florida.
Yeah.
And the thing is, I would tell people all the time, we both didn't make anywhere near as much money when we moved to Florida as we did when we were in New Jersey. But the quality of the time that we had was unmatched. There was like sitting in the pool at 3 p.m. on a school day was not possible for us when we were in New Jersey, but it
Yeah.
was when we moved to Florida.
Yeah.
And I think that those are because we belonged here.
Yeah. I
We didn't
know.
belong up there at that time. Or we were there as long as we needed to be. Let me say it
Yeah.
that way. When it was
Yeah.
time to go, we bounced
Yeah.
and have not looked back.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
But if you belong in New York City, then everything you're talking about is possible. You might have to put some extra protections in place, such as, protect yourself against things that are annoying to you. You may have to
Yeah.
do a few things differently because of where you are.
Yeah.
But if you belong there, everything is possible.
Yeah.
And it's
Yeah. My
also
heart.
too. Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead. No. But I'm just, my heart is like, I'm so grateful that for those of us who are able to make that choice to move,
Mm-hmm.
and sometimes you can't. And so that's another thing,
Yeah.
there's to make it, if you don't like something, you have to change your attitude, the people around you, or where you're at, that kind of those three things.
Yes.
Right. And,
Yes.
but then that goes back to, making these choices, financial choices whenever you can, that can help you make the choices that you want to do.
Yeah.
And then it goes back to, if you allow your magic, feel your passion, and who knows what'll manifest
Yeah.
an opportunity.
It's interesting that you mentioned about the being able to or not, because I'm beginning to think that, I don't know, and I'm thinking about people specifically. One, Sapphire. Like Sapphire just packed up everything and just went to Hawaii. And I have a friend now who was really going through a tough time. Divorce. I think there might have been like some issues with business wise, but she just packed up everything and moved to Mexico like recently. And
And there are people packing up in Guatemala and walking 10,000 miles, to go someplace. People make a choice.
right,
They're walking.
right.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm
And we
beginning
do
to
have that choice.
wonder. I think that there are probably far less people that are unable to make the choice because of the circumstances versus people who just have to change their mindset so that they can make the choice to go do what it is that they're needed to do.
It really is that way. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And what I discovered in life, because I do believe it, just the biggest takeaway from what both of you talked about, having a practice of gratitude, having a practice of affirmation. I'm not a religious person, but one of the things I love in the Bible is we have to renew our minds daily when it comes to positivity, when it comes to our mindset. What we think is not something you just wake up and be like, oh, I'm arrived. It's something you have to be, because it's not just
Yeah.
your conscious, it's also your subconscious that you also have to tap into and program that as well. So having that practice, having a community like the fucking Cool Women Society, aligning yourself with like-minded people, like-driven people, because who you are intuitively and instinctively can thrive when you are around the people that you need to be around. And just talking about what we always talk about, plants being in environments where they can't thrive. And it just may be as simple as moving that plant from a dark place in the house to a light place in the house. And you guys have talked about transitioning and moving out of spaces. But ultimately, and at the end of the day, for me, when it comes to true joy, true peace, it is something that I carry in me. And it is something that no matter where I am, no matter what's going on around me, I have joy and peace inside of me. And because I have it inside of me, I naturally attract it to me. I embody it around me, even if everything is falling apart. And so my life lesson in me packing up and leaving, going to another environment so I can thrive. But now that seed has been planted and the tree and the roots have been planted. So now I can be anywhere. I could be anywhere and I'm going to be 1000% okay. But that is because of my practice. That is because of community. That is because of me positioning myself to protect my peace at all costs. But that's not something you just wake up with. That is something that you have to cultivate it, and you
And
arrive
you
at
have
that
to do
point.
it daily. You have
Daily.
to
Yes,
do it
daily.
daily. If I don't do it daily, I've just started this practice. First thing I do, get up in the morning. I did it before this. I walk 3 blocks up, 3 blocks down, just real quick 5-minute back and forth walk. I did it Monday. Monday was great. Tuesday was great. Didn't do it on Wednesday. And yesterday, what was it? Low energy, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
And I was thinking, oh my God. So today, what did I do? I did the walk and I'm already, so it's got to be a daily practice. And when you,
I think.
we brush our teeth daily, at least you should, but so if you don't, you have issues.
I don't. When you were talking, Sapphire, I was reminded of a quote that I heard back in college from Les Brown talking about the difference between being a thermometer and a thermostat. And I don't know what are the inner workings of a thermostat, but I do know that a thermometer will change with the environment, but the thermostat changes the environment itself. And because it
Sprinkle,
shout out to Les Brown.
sprinkle.
Shout out to Les Brown because that's yours.
Shout out to
right?
Les Brown.
Yeah.
A little magic for your day. Yes.
Well,
Always nugget of gold.
While you were talking, I was thinking about the inner workings of a thermostat. I don't know what there is, but there's way more inner workings in a thermostat than there is in a thermometer. And the renewing of your mind daily are probably the parts that are inside the thermostat, the affirmations, the renewing of your mind, the getting rest, the going out and moving your body, These are all things that are probably working inside the thermostat as opposed to the thermometer, which is just reacting to the environment.
Yes. Well said. Well said. I am thoroughly enjoying this conversation.
I
And
know. I
we are
know.
now to the point of my favorite round of Soul Shift Sessions podcast, and that's our rapid fire round for our guests. Joanne, are you ready for the rapid fire round?
Yes, I am. I am.
Yes. Let's go. Okay, question number 1. What's one small decision you made and that ended up creating a massive shift for your life?
One simple decision. Okay. So one time I went to this silent meditation. It's called Vipassana. It's a 10-day silent meditation. And I decided to go, and this was when I was in New York, so I didn't have a car. So I got a ride share from somebody going, and I go to this place. It's this like camp somewhere in New Jersey. Beautiful May day. And all my friends are like, "You be quiet for 10 days? Oh, no, you can't do it." And I'm like, "Yes, I can." So I took 2 weeks off for work, and I got there. It was beautiful. And then quiet day. And I started going, and they don't want you to write. You can't say anything to anybody. And then every day you go to this a session and listen to the master talk. And he was sort of, he was a little too holier than thou in my opinion. And so by the third day I was like, oh my God, I got to get out of here. But how do I leave? I don't have a car. So I started thinking about walking down to a house and just calling a cab. I met these 2 other women in the bathroom who were going to leave too, and they both had cars. So we left together the next morning. And the 3 of us, they had camping equipment in their car. And so the 3 of us went camping in the Poconos by the river for like 3 days, complete strangers. And one of them was a recovering alcoholic, so no alcohol, so it was just us. We went, and it was one of the oh my God. It was the most
Am I hearing
magical
this
thing.
correctly? You left the silent retreat early? Am I hearing that correctly? Just so you know, there's a lot of levels to this conversation right now, Joanne.
A lot of levels that you don't know.
Because Coach Sapphire Star and I have had this conversation about a silent retreat. How long? For months now, right? Like it's probably
It's the beginning. Yeah.
It's the beginning of the podcast. And we were certain, no, sorry, she's certain that we would get kicked out of the silent retreat because of the fact that we're there together. And now I'm hearing, I didn't even know this was an option, Sapphire. Like,
I know, we escaped.
so I could just be like, you know what? How this work out?
Well, were we just talking about it? If you want to make the choice to leave, you leave.
You leave. We never thought about that. We were like, oh no, we're going to get kicked out. We never even thought about, oh, we should just bail. Like
and now it's like a real action for us now.
Yeah. Yes. I love that. And it's so on brand, so on point. And it's just, I love that. And that's totally like, that's my life. I always start out one direction and then I end up somewhere over here. Like, how did I get here? But I'm loving it. Like, it's beautifully just spontaneous, just beautiful craziness. And I just love being open to that.
Women today. That was like in the early 2000s. Yeah. Yeah, we found each other.
I freaking love that.
And I
awesome.
brought a disposable camera.
It's an option now. Like,
everything's an option.
Of course.
We didn't look at it that way, though. It was not even on the radar.
Was it? But you know what, Kyle, I have high hopes for us. I don't know. I still think we're going to get kicked out, but, I have hope that we're going to make the 10 days.
I don't know. I don't know if I could. Well, yeah, we'll talk about this off camera. We'll talk about this off camera.
How long did you last?
How long did you last?
3 days. That was
That's
good.
Though. That's good.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah. Again, we could talk about Vipassana off camera because it's a long, because I have,
okay.
Yeah.
Okay, we're going to get to the second
we'll talk
question.
because there is one in Georgia,
Yeah, we know. We've already mapped it out.
Maybe I'll go with you.
Yes, you all go together and get
We
kicked
could
out.
sneak off by the tree by the lake and talk. Because that's what we did. I was in the bathroom and this woman goes, "How are you?" And I go, "I'm fine. We're not supposed to talk to you." meet me down by the tree after 9. And I was like, okay.
Like, I don't know what this rendezvous is going to be, but I'm down.
That's wild when talking is like something exciting. That's crazy. All right. What's the wildest or most spontaneous thing you ever done in the name of personal development? I feel like that last question answered that, but you have some more for us, Joanne? I feel like you do.
I think that was my personal development question. We might, well, I'm gonna say every day. I mean, I think I try to personally develop myself every day. I'm just gonna. I mean, I think that's just what it is, because I think I do have a lot of wild things, but I think everything I could, just having a conversation with somebody in the store, I can have like a really good aha moment. I just think, I'm also just gonna pass that question because
I feel like you answered it. That
Yeah.
okay,
yeah.
good.
One
No,
and
no,
two.
no.
You pretty
Okay,
much,
good. Combined. Yeah.
pretty
I
much
love how
Because I wrote down, I was going to tell you, because one other thing I did, and this was another conversation, but when I left New York to travel with my art project to share mad positive energy around the world. And so I eventually got a minivan in 2011, and in 2012, I traveled for 6 months on the road from Savannah back to Savannah. And every time I left a new city, I was like, oh, it was a spontaneous, I had no idea what's going to be there. So every day, every time I went to a new city, that was an opportunity for new development. And that was so life-changing.
awesome.
And
And I made the manifesting
if you're
mobile.
paying attention, there's opportunities for developing yourself everywhere. You could be watching a movie and hear, how many times have I sent you a line like, oh, I just heard this on the show I was watching, and it was just a profound statement.
Yeah.
So
absolutely.
there just lessons everywhere.
Yeah, we just had that conversation on season 2, episode 8, I believe. Movies that impact us.
Yes. I think
Check
it's
that
9.
out if you haven't already watched it.
Yeah.
I
All
think
will.
it's 9.
Third and final question.
I know.
If your mind had a theme song that played every time you had a breakthrough, what song would it be?
Um, I think it depends on the moment that I'm in, for sure. Okay, because my current theme song, what I've been playing, and it kind of goes back to staying in that positive mindset and moving forward and taking big risks. And a lot of things are happening in my life. I'm manifesting right now. And there's a Melissa Etheridge. She did a documentary. It's on Paramount, and I don't know what it's called, but the song that she sings, she goes to this women's penitentiary in Kansas, and she does this concert for them. And she has 4 or 5 women write her letters about their stories and why they're in there. And she writes a song from the inspiration.
Wow.
She sings,
Oh, wow.
and it's really good. Watch it. And the song is "I'm a Burning Woman." I'm a burning woman. I may have fucked things up, but I can make it right. I'm strong. Hurt people. I'm a burning woman. I'm here. And that's the song that's really been. I listen to that in the morning, to get me going, and that song, because it's so good.
Yeah.
I
That's awesome.
love it. I love it. Joanne, you dropped so many gems today.
Yes.
So much magic, so much passion, so much love. You fully embody that philosophy. And I love that you are sharing your message, sharing your story, being
Yeah.
vulnerable to empower others, because that's what Soul Shift Session is about. We are not alone. And you can go fast alone, but you can go so much further together. And I feel like as human beings, we have so much more in common than we don't. And so when we embody that, when we connect, when we share our stories, that's when we learn that. And that's what Soul Shift Sessions is all about. And so thank you so much for being on the podcast. We appreciate you. First of all, what do you have going on, and where can the people connect with you?
And I want to do one more thing with you all before we go too. Okay. Okay. So you can find me at my name, joannemorton.com. That's the easiest place, joannemorton.com. And there's links to the FCW Society, which is fcwsociety.com. And if you look up Women Are So Fucking Cool with the asterisk or the U in the fucking word, it's on YouTube, Spotify, all of it. But the best place is to go to joannemorton.com. And I live in Savannah, and I'm working on the Manifesting Mobile, and that's an amazing project. And I'm working and opening a new space, and that's kind of exciting. And things are happening, and if you'd a year ago, I felt stuck and blah, and here I am. Everything is temporary. So enjoy the good times and be in the bad times, because they're all temporary. And bad times and good times are the same. We have to.
And it sounds like you just got to keep showing up.
Yeah.
That's what so many FCWs say on my podcast.
Keep showing
You gotta show up. You gotta show up. You gotta show up.
Yeah.
Yes.
Show up when
Yes.
it's times are good, show up when times are sucking, and just keep showing up.
Okay.
Yes.
So I have one more thing. I'm going to interrupt you because I want to be mindful of your all the time too. So one thing, if you want a way to give yourself a zip zap of positive energy, there's 3 things. There's gratitude. Find something you're grateful for. Laughter. Don't even talk about laughter yoga. Laughter is the best medicine. So laugh. And then third, affirmations. And so I'm going to do a call and response with you guys. And this is an affirmation that if we said every day, wonder what would happen. So I allow my magic.
I allow my magic.
My magic.
I feel my passion.
I feel my passion.
I live my love.
I live my love.
Say that 3 times in the mirror. Yeah.
All right.
There is movement, but we're not going to do that. There's a whole movement.
Okay.
Yes. Thank you so much, guys.
Ooh.
Yes, thank you.
That was awesome. Fucking cool people.
Yes, yes.
I don't think we cussed this much until today.
And it's liberating. It's like the little girl in me is like, oh, we get to curse. And I'm just like, yeah, but yeah, we can cuss.
That's right. In the art studio.
My kids watch this podcast.
Oh, they know that word.
They cuss too.
And they do, right?
They do.
One lets us know she does cuss, but she doesn't do it around us.
That's, just when you tell your kids, don't cuss around other adults,
Have some respect. Yes.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Any final words, Coach Kyle?
I do. The meaning of life is to give life meaning. Gonna drop it real quick and then step back.
And if you guys didn't know, Kyle is a fucking cool man. So I love him. Shouts out to Kyle, Coach Kyle.
I love the fucking cool woman in my life. Cool women in my life. So
you're surrounded by them. You can't help it, Kyle. You can't help it, great, because you're surrounded by fucking cool women all the time.
all the time.
That's a testament that you're a fucking cool man, because we only hang out with fucking cool men.
Well,
and
there's at least 3 that have no choice.
The wife and the 2 daughters.
The wife and 2 daughters, right? But everyone else does have a choice. So thank you, Joanne. I appreciate that.
Your wife has a choice too.
She does.
Okay.
She chooses me every
kids
time. So yeah,
but let's just
that.
make your wife a choice. She still was
Right.
a choice.
Where the children don't have a choice. Like, they're like,
I'm pro-choice.
right. When I'm 18, I get a choice. But right now, I'm stuck here with him.
Yes, I will agree with that.
Yeah, but you're pretty awesome. You're pretty awesome.
Thank you.
I love that.
Thank you.
I love that. As always, guys, don't forget and always remember to let your soul glow. Until next time.
Till next time, gang. So long.
Bye.